I remember this day many years back. A very close friend. We have worked together. We have been close and we are still very good friends, good colleagues. And this was an organization where he had worked for almost 25 plus years, almost literally from the time the organization got founded. One fine day, he was called to the cabin exactly on his 50th birthday and was given a termination notice. He was immediately asked to pack his bags and move out. No time given, just asked to move. And I remember that conversation. He immediately came out from that meeting with the boss, and we were sitting in the cabin, and I could see it on his face. There was fear, there was anxiety, there was shock. He just did not know what had hit him. He had been in this organization for so many years, and he was suddenly fired. So to begin again, so the whole thing was to begin. Now this is nothing new that's happening today, right? People beyond 50, when they get fired, and many of them are getting fired, they find it very difficult to get another job. This is statistics, this is reports, this is all research that you do on any kind of platform. Have a look at it. You'll find the statistics that if you're above the age of 50, it's very difficult to get a job. And obvious reasons: organizations want younger employees, they consider them to be more flexible, and the cost is a fraction of the cost. And not even 50s. Now we're seeing this trend happening beyond the 40s in many of the industries. And with AI coming in, a lot of the jobs are going to just be taken away by various kind of applications, various kind of tools. So this is going to just increase. This ageism is real, has been around. So what do you do with this? What do you do when you get fired? I'm going to share again, coming from my own experience and speaking about this very friend of mine whom I'm talking about, his personal experience. So what did he do when he got fired? So first of all, the first 2 or 3 years were really difficult for him. He tried different things. He put his hand in business. He did not succeed. He lost a lot of money. It came down to he had to sell his house. And then something happened that he completely reinvented himself. Completely reinvented himself and looked at a very different career path altogether. And this came from what he loved to do. Suddenly, it was not something that he was doing out of fear, out of survival need. He was now operating from a space which is more of something that you love to do, and you're contributing and you're adding value. And his life shifted. Now he's close to 65. And it's been a journey for him. This transformation has been such a beautiful journey for him. And it is not about the money. He was not making millions. He was not that he did something, but he's done something which is so amazing that very few people can do. At some stage, I will share that video on this channel. It is actually there, but I'll reshare it with a lot of you. So this is his story of reinvention. So what would I tell if somebody goes through this something? This is coming from people that I have seen who have gone through this process. I, beyond 50, on my own choice, I change things. But I'm going to share with you what I think very practically that you need to do. First of all, like this friend of mine did, you sit back and take, you don't start, first instinct would be to, you start hitting this, that, and there'll be either a way of learning that comes to you through trying different things, because suddenly you're in shock, the bills still have to be paid, things have to be taken care of. So you start reaching out to friends, start looking for a job, and then you're not finding a job easily. And so, you're trying different things, but nothing seems to be working. I would say that, the sensible thing to do would be to step back. To step back and take a stock of your life and your career and the way forward. And this reflection period is very essential, I think, because this is what will help you to, go in a particular way towards this, the next phase of your life, as I call this second phase of your life as the second act. So this reflection period is essential. I think everybody needs to do this. If you're suddenly fired, or even if you're not fired, as you start moving from your 40s, you start to reflecting on the next phase of life, as I call that's the second act. Now you start looking at what you really want to do in this phase of your life. It is not just about money. Yes, you have to look at everything, right from finances to career to life, but the most important thing is what is it that you want to do in life? Because you have just maybe if I look at it, there will be a stage in life where you will not be able to physically do the things that you really want to do. So you really start reflecting on what really do you want to do in life. So the reflection period is very essential. You need to take a short break, get back into reflection and start looking at, and here come from a space of not fear, but a space of saying that, what really can I contribute and what can I make a difference and what do I really enjoy doing in this world. And you might still stagger, you might still fail, various things will happen. The second thing that I would tell people who are going through this phase is that, spend a lot of time in learning. Do this at all stages in life, not necessarily when you're fired, but now that you have the time and before you get into doing something, you constantly be a learner and curious. I always say this: learn new skills that are coming up in the marketplace. Like if AI is now coming up, you need to learn and, whatever that space that you decide that you want to master and you want to really focus on in the next phase of your life, start building those skills. Maybe work at, it's like literally you're starting reinventing your life. Like when my son started his career in fashion photography, the first few years he was not making anything, but he was working free for people. He was doing his own collaboration shoots where he was putting money from his pocket, and I used to always wonder and ask him, when the hell are you going to, why are you doing all this for free? And he said, Dad, I know what I'm doing. It took him those 2 years to really master that art, and then he started getting his work started, when he started putting out his work out there on the social media, people started coming to him, and today his calendar is blocked. It took him that first 1 or 2 years. If you're reinventing your career, don't just expect it to succeed on the day one or week one or month one. It is going to be a time frame. There will be times which will be up, there will be times which will be down, there will be phases when you don't have anything, there will be phases when things will happen, but you will discover something. So give that time to yourself, but constantly put yourself in that student shoes at times where you are putting the hat of a learner, of a student. I would tell anyone today, in whatever profession you are, that one of the things that you need to do is master the art of storytelling. Work with somebody, watch stuff, read books, but learn that communication skills, which is how do you put your ideas across to people that get across. Because whatever you're going to be doing in this next phase of your life, if you pick up this skill, it's going to be very useful for you. Whether you do anything, or even if you're in a career at whatever age, I tell everyone that this is the most in demand skill that people will have, because stories come from real experiences. They don't come, the AI is not going to be able to create your stories, right? None of the things. So all your own struggles, your human element which is there, the flawed piece that is there, uh, there are some flaws out there, the challenges that you, something that's unique to you, those are the ability, to tell a story. When you're starting your business, the ability to tell a story. Whatever you're doing, the ability to communicate through stories, because stories stick and stories start differentiating you and they start becoming who you are, that they become your brand, as I call it. So become a good storyteller. Learn this art of storytelling. Stand up and learn that art of storytelling. Focus on the other thing that I would tell anyone is focus on adding value. This is what I did. I mean, this is what my son did. He would just, for example, when he would work with people at some of the masters, he worked with some of the best guys in this field, and he would not, even ask for money, whatever was paid to him, and he would just do it. But the point was, could he add some value to somebody? The constant thing that you have to ask is, from all these years of your experience, what is the value and what you have now reflected and you've come back. Like this particular friend went into a completely different space of healing, and that became his first thing. Then after from healing, he moved into something which he said he wanted to travel the world, spread the message of peace. And so it was a completely different shift altogether. So you need to really work out, because one of the things that I find that was core in his, even in this entire phase of life, was he's one of the best networkers I have seen, and that skill he has used in all the jumps that have happened. It will be completely different careers. From being in the IT side, he is completely shifted, switched careers, but his one skill, the core competence of his, the unique thing that he loves to connect with people, and he can connect with people anywhere, and that skill has always been so. When even when he does this world peace work, the ability to connect with various people so freely has become his common. So find that what is that unique in you, where you can add value to the world. People appreciate value, and don't do it with an agenda. The big problem that we have is you always have an agenda. What can I get out of this conversation? What is it that I will make out of this conversation? I have done stuff for people just without any expectations. And just like this video I'm making, absolutely, I don't think so. I'm expecting that everybody who's going to watch this video is going to be my customer, right? That's not the business. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to add value, something from my experience. So constantly start looking at how you can add value in whatever your experience is. And most important thing that happens at this stage is stop comparing with others. There will be others who are there in the job, they are succeeding in their life because they are in their job, and you're seeing them and you're saying, okay, my god, this guy is making so much. And then you look around, your neighbor is doing so much, and you know all those pressures of looking around and trying to keep up with everyone. Everybody's life, I always keep on coming back to this point, is everybody's life is different, right? So if the moment you start comparing, you are going to get into deep trouble, and you are never going to be satisfied, because you'll never be, there will be always be somebody better than you that you will see around, and then you're going to feel that pressure. Important thing for you to do is, as you face this situation, is look at your financial planning. And I'm sure if you are at 50, then you've had many years behind you. How do you look at your finances? You will need to move towards frugality. You will need to learn to live in that kind of life. And this is not if you're if you've been fired or not, but I tell everyone that a lot of money we just waste on trying to impress people who don't care about us. And we always have this, I've shared this in another video, that we think we are in the spotlight. We are not in the spotlight. Nobody really cares about us. So that is the important thing, that you do your financial planning. Very important thing that I did when I moved into my 50s. Obviously, this was earlier also. A good medical cover is very essential, because one medical setback can put you back many years. Financially, it can just ruin many families. So keep that medical cover for yourself and for your family. Keep a cushion of at least 6 months. I would say 1 year, 2 years. So you build towards it. If you're in the 20s, start building towards it. You need to have that cushion. It's very important to have that comfort. It gives you a peace of mind. Invest in your health, because the other important thing that is going to happen to all the people who are moving into their 50s is they're going to live longer than the previous generations. Not necessarily the quality of life is going to be improving, but the span of life will improve. The health, not necessary, but the span of life is improving, which means that it is up to you now to start taking care of your health. And if you don't want to land up, and the longest that you can stay as in that wellness space is very critical for and crucial for you, right? So just look at it, that what you can do. I've also written a book about it. How did I fight my own type 2 diabetes, and that book is also there. So there are various things which I've learned on that journey of that. I started with just the physical, but I saw that mental piece is also as important. Find friends on the journey. It's again another important piece, is that because it is going to be a journey which is tough, right? There will be times when you feel very lonely. Having that one close friend, and I had this one friend whenever I had this challenge, and this was a friend who would listen. Somebody who was not always trying to pull me down, was listening very carefully, was giving me that feedback, and that's very essential. So you need to find one person or a couple of friends, be a group possibly that's going to be. In fact, I have started a small WhatsApp group where I am trying to get people who are beyond their 50s, who are moving into the second act, so that I can support them and I could help them in their journey. Give back. Another important thing is that, learn, because this is a stage where you've got so many things that you have gathered from life. So if you have the time, where there's nothing happening, right? And you don't have the next job, you have not figured out can you start contributing in terms of supporting some causes, something that you do? Because when you're contributing, when you're giving out, when you're dealing and working with people who have lesser than you, that itself is a healing process that will help you in your journey. And that's something that doesn't require that. You just need to look at some kind of organizations around you, volunteer for things. Just don't sit and do nothing. Just be useful to somebody, add in something to someone. So keep that. The other thing that, this is something which has come from my learning, from my own journey, is this myth about that we'll always be happy, that everything is always going to be fine. No, the reality is that the life is not what we expect. Things will go wrong. They have gone wrong in my life. Things have happened. Businesses have failed. The things had to pivot. Health challenges, self, family, things going wrong. Suddenly, COVID hit the world. From big things happening to smaller things, to things will happen. This constantly being in a steady thing that it was going to be always very nice for me, that myth we need to drop. I'm sure by this stage in age we get this point that there will be ups and downs, there will be turbulence in life, and that is what is life. A straight line is death on the monitor. When you are dead, you have a straight line. There is nothing that you have to worry about, right? You have a absolutely straight line. But when you're alive, that monitor, when you're hooked on in a hospital, is always going up and down, up and down, up. And that's life, right? So as long as we are alive, we're going to face those challenges. They're going to come up. It's just a sign of being alive. Uh, Important, turn this entire journey as an attitude. I would tell people, there is this fear, right? Can you turn this fear into excitement? Because both are same in terms of how you feel in the body. Fear is, you look at a soldier when he's going into a war, and he is out there trying to work, and he's working for his country, and he wants to, or somebody who's climbing the mountain and is taking a Mount Everest trip. And I had met this lady who's done this, Arunama Sinha, who had climbed the Mount Everest, and she's the first female amputee in the world to have done that. And then, I heard her story, the story of courage, the story of, taking on something which was impossible, story of somebody said this is not possible. So there was fear. She could die on the journey, and she literally saw death in her eyes, very close to death. She had those experiences, but she was the most alive. So you can look at your hardships, your difficulties, and turn them. So you can either live in the space of fear, or you can live in the space of excitement or adventure. So turn this entire thing into an adventure. Life anyway is an adventure, right? It's how we write our story. How do we want to tell our story? So can you convert this fear that you have of what is going to happen into, wow, this is an adventure. Let me see what is going to happen, and I'm going to create something next, something bigger, something more interesting, like my this friend did it, like Arunama Sinha did it in her life. So you can figure that out. My closing thought is that 50s is, in the corporate world, many people say 50s is your retirement. I think it's the best time of your life is yet to come. That's how you need to look at this, being beyond 50. You have to enjoy that journey. At every stage in life, you need to enjoy, whether you're a teenager, whether you're going to your youth, or now that you're in your 50s. I think this is the spot which is really a golden spot, because after 65, your health starts, as per statistics, you start facing health challenges. So this is the time when you have earned money, you have done things, you have got the experience in life. This is one of the best phases of your life. Enjoy this journey. Every journey is important. Enjoy this journey. Yes, you have been fired. It's not the end of life. You've got life ahead of you. There are so many things you can create with what you have experienced, and what you can contribute to the world. So this is what I would leave you with. You're fired at 50. Yes, it's a difficult time. Yes, it looks like a challenging period of time. But I can tell you, having seen people, having myself jumped out of the corporate world at the age of 50, and then lived, it's almost 9 years of my journey. The fears that I would carry, I have managed to. I look back and I say, okay, this has been a beautiful journey. This has been an adventurous journey that I have created in the last 9 years. You can actually make your 50s and 60s the most adventurous time of your life. That's the choice that we all have. That's the thought that I want to leave you all with. I hope you have liked what I have shared with you. What are your thoughts? What are some of your strategies when you have been fired? How the hell have you coped? Please share in the comments because it might help somebody else. I look forward to you subscribing to this channel where I keep on sharing on the second act, and I hope you enjoy these videos. Thank you.